So I've made videos, or a video anyway, about why I love independent bookstores. But one of the things that I also talked about that they had a lot of are literary magazines. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's a magazine that is filled with art, writing, poetry, prose, nonfiction, fiction, all of that, basically contained in one thing. So it's like the best of all of the little artsy writing world. Now, what I haven't talked about is online literary magazines. Because these are, pretty big, especially now. There's so many magazines that are online but not in print anymore. I've got a few friends that run one, actually. You'll get to see them in a minute. But I think that it's really important that we, as a community of, little YouTubey people, that we grow to support these online lit magazines. Now, I say this because the YouTube community to me is a place where we get to decide what's important to be seen, to be filmed, that needs to be archived for the world, right? It's a community of people that kind of goes across cultural lines, and, it's just so cool. Well, literary magazines do that, but they do that for literature. So, you get literature from somebody in Britain, and somebody in France, and somebody from America, and somebody from Mexico, and somebody from Canada, all in the same thing. Or you can get literature from undergraduates, and from graduates, and from an 80-year-old woman who's just going back to poetry after 50 years of working a 9-to-5 job. All of these people can come together in one magazine. It's pretty much... It's such a really cool thing to do. Now, they do this in print magazines, but print magazines, because they have to print, they have to get the money to be able to print them out. So the selection of who goes in is really, really tough. And it generally is people that have been published before. One of the great things about literary magazines for emerging writers, like me, is that it's a way to develop publishing credits. So I can get published in an online literary magazine like Ghost Ocean, plug, and it will look good whenever I try to go and publish a novel later on. Because at least somebody out there in the world, some magazine, some professional group of editors somewhere, thought that what I was doing was a pretty good idea. So I've got a few that I really, really like that I'll put links to in the doobly-doo. But specifically, I've got a couple of friends that are the editors of a literary magazine. It's brand new. It just started in August or something. And there will be a link in the doobly-doo. But more importantly, we had a reading this past week because MFA students kind of get together and read to where we can get into the habit of reading, because otherwise you tend to babble on like this. But in front of a large crowd and with a whole thing of fiction in front of you, they get bored before you ever get to the fiction. So for poets, it's a lot about how to read poetry. For fiction writers, it's a lot about how to engage your audience in something that normally they have to see to really be engaged in. Anyway, so at this reading, two of the editors for Ghost Ocean read some of their work. Now, I don't put all of their work on here because if you tried to steal it, I'd feel really, really, really bad. So don't try to steal it, because they put a lot of hard work and editing and effort into this. So hey, if you're out there and you're writing poetry and you're writing fiction in your spare time and you want to get these things published, try online lit mags, because they are the place to go. I feel like I'm advertising. Okay, anyway, here we go. Okay, so first up is going to be Heather, and she's the main editor of Ghost Ocean, and then after that's going to be Tim, and he's a fiction editor for Ghost Ocean, really good fiction writer. Heather's a poet, Tim's a fiction writer. Arielle will be last. She's a poet, and she was just published in Ghost Ocean. And then, yeah, that's all I'm going to have for you today, because I've talked a long time, and I'm sorry. But, yeah, so I'll see you later. And I have to go. And, Kenzie, what are you doing? Bye. Great sound. It's a long story.
Okay.
Where's yours? So I'm going to read a few poems from my chat book. Oh, they're all from my chat book. Watch TV. Yeah, they're all from my chat book. Anyway, this one is because we didn't have a I'm shoveling snow clouds because we can't see the sun. When you tug on my shirt, your eyes say worry, and I can help too. So I pull a shovel from my pocket, and now we are both slinging sky around, sloshing through clouds underneath our feet. We are digging toward tangerine light, something super citrus, bright enough to lead us home.
It's called
Please, we don't expect that.
it's called Tell Me Where to Go. There's other titles. There's many titles. I'll read them louder, I guess. Okay, the first part is called The Problem with My Cell Phone, or So I Thought. I had a problem with my cell phone. It was calling people while I was in my pocket. I thought it was because it hit against my leg when I sat down, but that was not the problem. The first time this happened, I called my ex-girlfriend in Brooklyn. I had not called her in years, and then I heard a voice in my pocket. It was her voice. I pulled my phone out and said, "Who is this?" "You called me," she said. "Why did you call me?" "I didn't call you," I said. "It was my cell phone." She didn't understand, but she never understood really, which is why she was my ex-girlfriend. But we still talked, and she decided that we should meet. I had to take a Greyhound to see her. The Incident on the Bus.
Poem, and it's about this forest in Japan, where a lot of people killed themselves, but it's just like background for my poem. So.
Get her done.
Yeah, I will get her done, Timothy. Alright, so. Aokigahara on a Friday night. Limb by limb we entered spaces, between trees that shook and leaned, closer to each other, sighing. We sat on splintered logs, near, but not together. Lips apart, eyes wide, there were no words, except for those peeling off worn signs. Dull moonlight slid across our faces and illuminated chipped paint please. Your life is a precious gift, burned bright against wood warped by rain. Please reconsider and think about your family. Rolled past our eyes, but we just wondered at the stroke and the slope of the letters, already forgetting that words had meaning. We climbed the thick trunks until the fallen trees looked like matchsticks in a smoldering ashtray. We strung ourselves between the branches, hoping whispers of wind forgave our dangling feet.
It grew till it covered his chin. It dusted the cookies and caught the stray crumb, but some dared to say that it made him look like a bum. Beard, beard, beard. Big bad beard.